Jeff Bezos brought out a phone called Alexa, or he's in the makes of creating a phone called Alexa. And why? I've got a friend of mine who stays in the States right now. He's ordering his toothbrushes and toothpaste from his house. He says, hey Alexa, I need Colgate toothpaste. Again, when that starts becoming a factor, McDonald's, I think they not hit the nail on the head, but they've got their Burger King. You want to differentiate yourself based on your product and services. So brand in the long term for me is very important in that sense, in that if I want to buy a specific Carol Boyce, for example. I want a Carol Boyce utensils. Because eventually it's going to get to that stage where it's, hey, I want utensils. On ranking, and you all know SEO, on ranking, it's only going to deliver the first 3 results. I mean, discussions are, oh, we need to boost our SEO and this and this and this. It's tough. People generally don't go past page 2. I don't know how many of you go past page 2, but that comes where brand comes in. And social media has allowed us to level the playing field because we're able to create a brand based on content and based on things that are innate as humans, which is being entertained through videos. Because videos aren't a new thing. It's been since TV and you name it, way back in the 90s. So creating brand in that sense is creating a lot of content on social media, creating a lot of valuable content on social media to bring people towards you and get them to like your story. And I advise again to really put out more content and boost these posts, because social media is not going to be around forever. I'd say it's about 3 to 5 years before this nice peak of it is, and we might move on to something else, which is voice marketing. And then that's going to be another discussion. Hey, we need to get into voice marketing. How do we do that? If we've established a brand on social media, built up content, got people to interact with our brand, I think then we'll be more safer in the long term. Businesses, it's leveled the playing field. This is what I wanted to get to next. Kylie Jenner. Yes, she was blessed. Yes, we understand. She was blessed. She had the popularity. She came from the Kardashians, but she's the youngest Forbes billionaire. The youngest billionaire on Forbes. To a massive company making more than $1 million to $1 billion. I think it's $1 billion company right now, even trillion. And that was off the back of social media. Mac couldn't achieve this. I'm not really into the whole thing, so I wouldn't know. But you guys can advise me on brands. There's a lot of brands that haven't been able to do what she did, and she did this in about 2.5 years, 3 years, off the back of social media. Yes, she leveraged her audience, but it was where she understood where the attention was, and that was on social media. We all had phones. I mean, I was trying to approach a client, and she said, hey, we'd love to work with you. We'd love to run some ads for you. Nanga, our business, our target market's on it. She did meal prepping. Also similar to You Cooks, but a different company. We did meal prepping. I said, okay, so why do you say your target market's not there? No, because we sell it at an expensive cost, and the people who buy aren't there. I said, okay, well, do you have Facebook? Yes. Do you have Instagram? Yes. So what makes you think that your customers don't have Facebook and Instagram? No, but, well, you're losing out on the attention and the awareness. Daniel Wellington, I'm not sure how many have a watch or know of Daniel Wellington, but again, Daniel Wellington, brilliant, only built off the back of social media. This is why I say social media has made the playing field level. Fossil haven't been able to amass their growth in the last 3 years as Daniel Wellington had. And why? Because they did brand. They gave people watches, or they made, what they did very well, and what Kylie did well was, they built the brand and content. So building the brand is obviously showing the lifestyle that that person would have with your product or service. So how would your product or service benefit that person in their life, and display it through content. So I've got a Daniel Wellington and I could be walking in the forest. In the desert. Immediately now if I saw this and I bought a Daniel Wellington, it made me feel as if I'm an adventurer. Because that's what Daniel Wellington did. And through that, they got people to do what we call, and I'm not sure if someone's spoken about it, user-generated content. They got to a stage where they didn't have to post content even organically because they had their users posting it. Gymshark. So I gym a lot. This is a brand that I followed way back when, and what they did very well was they brought influencers who had YouTube channels. That was their strategy. Is they got guys who were already creating gym videos at home, so sitting about 20,000, 30,000, made them sponsored athletes, and through that, they were able to market the product. Because again, people follow people. People like people. It's brilliant. All the influencers, I'm guaranteed, have YouTube channels. And then again, it's the premium high quality content because it's Instagram. Sorry, I'm showing you Instagram a lot, but it's, again, for me personally, it's the #1 app that I use a lot. Facebook second, Twitter third, YouTube fourth, Snapchat whenever. So Gymshark, same thing. And then I want to bring it to South Africa, You Cook. I'm sure everyone knows of You Cook. Again, brilliant brand. Brilliant brand. Run advertising because they know that they can't reach their audience in this competitive market. They shot high quality content. And if you scroll further down, they do those like cooking recipe things. Like they cook a little meal and they give you the recipe. Again, it's value. So you see this, it looks so great, you want to cook it at home, and whether you buy You Cook or not, they don't mind. It's the value that they're giving you. Because they know eventually you're going to share their page, you're going to share the photo, you're going to share the content, and it's going to reach someone who is going to buy. I post a lot of content on Facebook and Instagram. That's why I'm recording again, because again, it's value. I've picked up clients through LinkedIn because again, it's value. And it's not buying my stuff. If you actually go, I'm not trying to sell myself, but if you actually go look at my articles and videos, you'll get a lot of value then. You won't even need an agency to work with you. Because, you know, it's all free. Content is free, content is everywhere. But how you differentiate yourself in this noisy world is what's going to make you stand apart. And how, #1, is posting a lot of content. That's for me firstly, because content churns. You'll see a photo today, you'll never see it for the next 120 days until someone tags you again. 2, it has to be value driven. People don't like, I personally don't like, and we've seen it with stats, is that people don't like content unless it's value driven and unless you get something on. Whether you laughed, whether you cried, whether you smiled, whether whatever it was, there was a trade-off. Thirdly is then being top of mind continuously. Is always trying to be in front of the customer at all times, because unless you ask someone else to spend more money, they understand that. So thanks for listening. You know, I know it might have gone over the head, but I do hope you did gain a lot of value from this. And I want to get into the Q&A part of things, because I think that's where the real value lies. And what are you guys currently doing? What is any strategic advice that you'd want to know? What questions you have that you wanted to take outside of the boardroom but you never did? I'm here to answer. Whether it's influencer, whether it's content, whether it's paid media, whether it's automation, whatever it might be, I'd love to answer some of your questions based on things that you want to know. So is there anyone who wants to ask first? Is there any questions anyone has? So I'm gonna say that then everyone's social media strategy is fine and everyone knows what they're doing, and the growth rates like this.
Hello. Could you, because I presented, you were just talking about Instagram.
Yes.
Because I think personally, I view Instagram as a more influential social media tool to Facebook, because it's exactly what you were saying. What trends are you picking up on Instagram at the moment? Because obviously Facebook's changing crazily at the moment in terms of paid content. So that stuff, does the same apply for Instagram, or can you see different trends happening on Instagram because it's a different type of platform?
It is. And I think it comes back to when I said earlier, is the person who engages on Instagram is different to the person who engages on Facebook. I'm on Facebook to see my friends' birthdays, and I'm on Instagram to share and watch content from my friends and people that I follow. And I think that's where the differ lies, is because we spend a lot more time on Instagram because it's escapism. I think that's the biggest thing we need to understand. It's escapism. There's no need to be on Instagram for so long. I mean, and it's such a weird thing to say, because I'm a marketer and I push content out on Instagram. Yes, I understand that it's escapism for the person. I think that's where the catch-22 comes in. I think the difference in the platform is the amount of content that gets shared and how relevant the content is. I think something that I post, if I post something on Instagram and it's short and bite-sized pieces, you're going to enjoy it more than if I've shared it on Facebook. And it's just the timing and when you post those content. So I'm sure a part of strategy is always, when do we post photos? You know, I'm seeing a spike on Facebook at 12 o'clock, but I know people come home from, because it is science. You're either on Instagram during lunch break, you're either at Instagram soon as you get home, and then again at 9 o'clock when you're sitting in bed. So it's getting to the nuance and understanding when do people engage with the platform. And I think take it back to yourself and say, okay, how often am I on Instagram? Guaranteed someone else is as well. And then let's play on that and use that as a general metric and then test from there. But I think it's just the amount of content you put out and what type of content you put out on each platform. Because it's speaking to two different audiences and they're at two different times. Yeah, I hope that answers it.
Yeah, is there an optimal amount of posting that you should be doing for a brand within a week?
I would even say daily. I would say daily. So again, Facebook, I would use it as a website. So you don't have to push content maybe 1 post a day, 2 posts a day, whether that's a blog you wrote on your website or a podcast show that you guys are running and you want to share that. You want to use Facebook as a website, and again, page engagement is low. So here's a strategy if you want. Because Facebook's page engagement is so low, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook F8 spoke about community groups and then making that a big shift in Facebook strategy. Because now, if you're in a group, I don't know how many people are in Facebook groups, you know, community groups in your neighborhood, etc. You see those posts, but you don't see your friends, correct?
Yeah.
That's it. So maybe another strategy there is to, you know, create community groups around specific target audiences in your business. So you've got moms, you put them there, your fathers, you've got kids there, or, you know, again, for me, gymming, I've got guys who do weight training and then guys who do sprinting or whatever. Split up your communities and then post content differently there. But in terms of posting, I would say post Facebook 1 or 2 a day, Instagram 3 to 6 times a day. And this is the reality we live in, is that I can see a post now at 12 o'clock and I won't see it ever again. And also, because of the algorithm, it's only going to show me the best engaged content. So if I post a photo knowing that I've got low audiences, the chances of people actually seeing my content is very minimal. And I've seen this in my personal content. I'll post a video and then I'll post a photo of like a book that I read and a little excerpt. It gets low engagement than my photo does, or my videos do, because that's just how it is. So I'd say 4 to 6 times on Instagram, 1 or 2 on Facebook. Twitter, it's tweets, so you can post now and it will never be seen. But I think the best thing about Twitter is the chances of virality is a lot bigger, depending on what you post. So not saying everyone go for the viral content or shoot something extreme, but I mean, if you post something on Twitter that was really good and it invoked an emotion in people, the chance of that being shared a lot is huge. I don't know how many of you follow Rocker Mamas on Twitter. You should see their community manager. Big up to Mike Sharman at Retro Viral. Their community manager engages as if they're a friend. It's a brand, but they speak as friends. So I think that's the thing. So again, on Twitter, I'd put out 10 to 12 tweets, and then YouTube, at least 1 or 2 videos per month. 1 or 2 videos per month, long form, whether you're teaching them something about your business. So again, if I was Suzal, like Suzal, you know, how to make this drill. If I was Gym Show, if I own a gym apparel, you know, again, weight training, how to do this training and so forth. But yeah. And I'll try to be across all platforms, but focus on 1 or 2 that you know your target audience sits on. I think that's what confuses a lot of people, is that we try post, again, comes to that thing, we post 1 photo across all platforms. It's to say, okay, I know this is our target audience, this is our target customer, he or she is generally on Instagram and YouTube. Those are the platforms you focus on, and then put content out for that.
What are your thoughts on podcasts?
You see, that's completely different to social, but I think on the long term, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I think that's why I asked how many people listen to the radio. The radio is a podcast, but it's a radio station, you know, so it's still the same. I think that's why Garrett Cliff always built Cliff Central in that sense. So for me, I think podcasts, it's just what are you providing, what are you speaking about in those podcasts? What is the value that you're giving to them? So again, I know there's someone here is from On Tap. I would, I can't even think off the top of my head. Let me get something else. Montague dried through the nuts. I speak about health risks. I'd bring in a health influence and speak about how her health journey's been, how she's been as, making her recipe guide and so forth. Bring in chefs and speak about certain things. Like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be product specific. It's just got to be industry specific. So as long as they're in the industry and we can engage fully with there's an alignment of value in what we speak out, then it's great. So, but yeah, I definitely think run a podcast show. I really do. I think long term, again, it's about education. I don't know how many people listen to podcasts, but it is a growing medium of communication. And again, like I said, if social media dies out, we're going to move to voice and podcasting and so forth. So, but don't stress too much about it, but I would say keep it in the back of your mind. Podcasts it is a growing medium and it's a platform that should be utilized, especially if you're a service brand. Yes.
Other than Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the obvious ones, are there any social media platforms that you think are upcoming worth looking out for?
I heard a while back that Vine 2.0 is coming back, but again, that's a lot of influencer marketing. There's big Vine characters, if you give them a shirt, you can get them to come do a skit at On Tap in one of your showrooms, those things work. I know there's TikTok. We had a client of ours who asked me, Nanga, should we do TikTok? I said no, unless you're trying to target 16-year-olds. Otherwise, I would step away. But then again, what is your target audience and where is your audience going to be? Right now there aren't. WhatsApp's a social media platform. I'm flying now to Joburg, and they've got the convenience of sending me my tickets via WhatsApp. WhatsApp's also social media. It's just how we communicate on those. But in terms of up and coming, nothing that I'm seeing right now. I'm just seeing a constant flow in what the current platforms are, and depicting what's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years in terms of the engagement on the platform.
Just on that, to further that, you see the answer to that is also it depends. The crypto, Telegram rules it all.
Correct.
Because it's gotten massive, but it's got virtually no way to advertise it.
Correct.
It's great for engagement.
Correct. No, and I 100%, that's what I'm saying, because Telegram's also social media. That's why I like Twitter, because it is the most authentic social media. It is all just text and communication. But like Telegram and WhatsApp, that's why I'm nervous about WhatsApp now, because it's owned by Zuckerberg. We've seen what he did with Facebook and Instagram, and there's talks of him running ads on your WhatsApp status stories. So you ran away from Instagram to see influencer stories. You came onto WhatsApp to see your friend post something. They're surely going to run ads. And I'm seeing Mixit come back and run ads on Instagram. Why? Because they don't post organic content. No one knows them. But if they run ads and get top of attention, and WhatsApp do what they do, I'm going to shoot to Telegram, I'm going to shoot to Mixit, I'm going to shoot to all different other platforms where I won't be run with ads. Yeah.
Are you at all afraid with the data usage breakdown of social media platforms?
So, and this is coming back to my thing, is you control your time, you control what you follow. We opt into social media. The social media never came to us, we went to it. And I don't know if you remember, a while back, Facebook actually would log you out every time you logged in, and would want you to log in, willingly, until they saw that it became an annoyance for people and that you wanted to just quickly switch on your app. So with that, they've then launched the location services and that mining of data. So again, we opt into social. Social never came to us. And in terms of the data scandal, again, Zuckerberg didn't do anything wrong. You need to log out Facebook. I think we need to be accountable of what we see on social media and how we interact with the platforms. Whether you do a 1-week cleanse on social media, and this is from a consumer of social media, whether you do a 1-week cleanse or so forth. But again, the data's there. The internet's the same. Everything that you have, that's why I'm seeing people, I'm not sure how many people have laptops here, but you've covered the top, the screen camera. It gets quite, because it's the internet. We're connected to a massive pool, and that's where social media just made the playing field equal for every business. I don't have to have a stall to be able to drive you out of the market like Daniel Wellington and a few others did. Okay, the clicker's not. That's on. It's alright. But how Daniel Wellington, I mean, they've taken fossil out the game. And they're in style, and they speak to a specific audience, same as Kylie Cosmetics, and they've done what other brands didn't do. But again, we opt into social media doesn't opt into us, and we need to bear that in mind. Which comes back to the human factor. That there's a human at the end of every phone. So speak to that person as if you know that they exist. Any other questions? Anyone's dabbing into influencer marketing? Okay.
I just have one question. You were talking about TikTok.
Yes.
Is there any research with regards to Gen Z and what that generation is doing, the 16-year-old, between 12 and 16, 12 and 18, what social platforms they prefer?
I think, how many of us are parents? I say us as if I'm parents. No, I am not. But I mean, you'll see now your kids as well, probably on their iPads, on their phones a lot. And I think in terms of research into Gen Z and how they communicate with platforms, they're like us, they're on all the platforms. I think what's exciting is culture. What's exciting is culture and how people engage in that. So, nowadays, people don't ride bikes anymore, but they play games on PlayStations. Same thing as with TikTok now, is people enjoy, making silly, crazy videos because Vine was such a big thing that, again, targeted people below 25. Below 22, I'd even say. Because it was quick, it was entertaining, and it was a great form of short content that I could excerpt. And that's what TikTok has done. And it's allowed kids to become, and a lot of other Gen Zs, Gen Xs, to become influencers in that way. So in terms of TikTok and what it's done for the Gen Z market, I think it's being relevant. It's being relevant. Music is culture. A lot of people are listening to a lot more music. South Africa ranked as the second most streamed country on Spotify. 2018. So again, coming back to TikTok, what they've done is that they've allowed you to say, listen, you love all this music, why don't you create little dance videos out of it and send it to your friends? And before TikTok, what was it called? What was it rebranded to? Okay, I can't. But before TikTok, it was rebranded by, and the Chinese bought it over and changed it to TikTok. But it's culture. I think it's just understanding us as humans. Again, it's understanding us as humans and then how we interact with the social platforms. So anyone thinking of doing, okay, so I've been given the cue. I do hope that you gained a lot of value from this. I am posting this video up later on my YouTube channel and on LinkedIn. So if there is things you want to recap on, you could definitely check that out. As well as, again, if I could go back, I do have social media. I've got LinkedIn and Instagram, and I post a lot of valuable content there, specifically for small businesses and marketing managers and people who want to navigate social media. So there you can also check it out. But thank you very much. I think the one thing I can leave you with is just provide more value. It's just like in any relationship. I think that's why women give off so much more love. And it's just like when you give up more love, you get it back. So it's just same as social media. Provide value and they will come back. But understand that coming back isn't immediate. We live in instant gratification where we want things now. It doesn't work that way. And that's social media for you. Thank you.